strategic initiatives, but at the same time, they blended that beautifully with the right focus on the right details. We all know we can't do it all, but focusing on those things that are really going to drive change. And what change did it drive? Well, they had a record number of members, they had record sponsorships, and they had programming that was keenly focused not only on members' wants and needs, but truly what they value. And that's what we're all here to learn. Second of all, I'm very pleased to introduce Iowa because I can completely relate to hailing from a state. When you tell people where you're from, the most common response is sort of a head tilt and huh. So without further ado, I introduce you April Schmaltz from AMA Iowa.
Thank you, Catherine. That was great. You actually gave me a wonderful lead-in to my presentation. First of all, let me say I am so excited about being here and sharing our journey because we've had a great one. And I thought I'd start off by asking everyone, do you know where Iowa is on the map? Oh, yay! But it's okay if you don't, because people get confused. And a lot of times they might say, oh, the potato state, or the corn state, or the tire state. They really don't know who Iowa is or what Iowa's about. Well, I love this slide because, well, if I can get my clicker working. It works this morning, huh? We'll go with it if you want to just click through. Idaho, Ohio. So you know, Iowa is the corn state, Ohio is the tire state, and Idaho is the potato state. So you're still not quite sure where we are? You can go to the next slide. We're actually just right outside the middle of nowhere. And the next slide here, you may have heard of us in the great movie, Field of Dreams, where the line is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. But I'm here to tell you that if you're in Iowa long enough, you always say on second thought, yeah, this is heaven. We have a pretty great state. And on the next slide, we do have a skyline. It's not all cornfields. Okay. Des Moines is a great city, and we have, especially in recent years, had a lot of great accolades presented to us. We've been awarded by Forbes, by Kiplinger, by Money Magazine for things like best city for job growth and #1 place to raise your family. We've got a lot of success. So why am I telling you this? In all seriousness, we have a very, very good business community with people like Wells Fargo Financial and Home Mortgage having their headquarters in our area. We've got Winnebago in Iowa. We have Principal Insurance in Iowa. We have people that put a lot of pressure on us from a marketing community to do great things on a very slim budget. And so that's our challenge as we walk out into the world, is that while you don't think about Iowa as being this insurance mecca or this place that people really have great businesses, we really do. And we're starting to see more. We even have Google and Council Bluffs now. So Facebook is coming. There's all kinds of fun things going on in Iowa. So I'll leave you with this. Next time you fly over, wave, because we'll wave back. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about AMA Iowa. AMA Iowa has 293 members. And I'll say that again, 293 members. That's our highest in history. And we're really proud of it. Really proud of it. Our leadership, on the next slide here, we have 22 board members, various marketing backgrounds, which I think gives us a wonderful opportunity to really take a breadth of marketing knowledge to our community. We also have a CPA and attorney on our board for numerous reasons. We want to make sure our finances are straight, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. As well as, I think it brings a different, interesting perspective. I mean, we marketers, we are type A, as I've heard say. We have many lofty goals, and sometimes, we may ask our attorney things like, we're going to have an event at the casino. We're thinking about allowing them to do this gambling thing. What do you think? And they have to rein us back in. So it is good to have that perspective. On the next slide here, we have a lot of fun too. I I think the key to a good board is having people that you like, that are hardworking, that are passionate about what you're doing, and then allowing them to bring their perspective in and engaging with them. So I think we do a nice job of that. You'll see here on the next slide, we really like each other. So it's kind of fun. You become friends with the people that you spend a lot of time with on your volunteer work, because you already work full-time anyway. You've got to do this as a secondary thing as well. So we like each other. But as any board has, like all of you, we have challenges, and we had our fair share of challenges. The first one I'll share with you is we had 15 of 22 board members that were on our board for less than 2 years. So that's 70%. Those of you close to 70%, not quite. And while we looked at that as a challenge, we also looked at it as an opportunity. We realized, new people bring new, fresh ideas. And we were at a time in our chapter where new and fresh ideas were very important. So we were excited about that. The other thing we had going on that I'm going to mention while on this slide is that we had a VP of programming, and you've heard from our previous speakers that program's important. That was pregnant, which was very exciting for her, and we were very, very thankful that we had a strong bench, and Angela Tinkley, who's here. Maybe Angela, heard her name earlier, came in, didn't skip a beat, kept our programs up and going. So we have a strong bench, and that was appreciated. But the next slide is perhaps our biggest challenge. At the beginning of the program year, we learned that our nonprofit status had been revoked. And I'm sure there's other chapters that can relate, because I know lots of nonprofits can relate with that. This last year, I think I counted in the newspaper, there was like 250 at that time that got revoked. So we weren't alone. But it was quite the challenge. It was very painful, and I'll talk a little bit more about how painful that was a little bit later. So our journey. It's been a journey. I actually have been on the board, I think this is my 10th year, and I came to Summit for the first time when I was going to be on the board for my 8th year. And I can remember being in a room very similar to this, looking at all of it, looking just like you do up here at the person on the stage, and having just this eye-opening experience and asking myself, why did I not make this happen sooner? Because I knew a lot about our board, but I didn't really know a lot about what everybody else did. And it was just an amazing experience that we had. We actually brought that year a brand new board member, which was Sarah Barthel. She was going to be the VP of programming. Myself as the incoming president-elect, and then Georgianne Smith as the incoming president. And we all looked at each other and we said, you need to make a commitment. Now's the time to make a commitment to move this organization forward. Take these chapter excellence awards that we keep hearing about and do something about it. So I really want to acknowledge the board that Georgianne established and the foundation. Many of them are here today that have assisted in making this journey happen, because it's been quite fun to see the transformation over the last couple of years. So we're at Summit, and I said we made this big transformation at Summit. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, and first, I guess, congratulate all of you for being here, for taking the time, making the commitment to your chapter and to your community to have this experience. Because I'm telling you, being on the board for 10 years, not coming until you're here on the 8th year, it's a big commitment what we're all doing. Whether we see it every day or we don't see it every day, this is a big commitment. So I'm asking, and I'm telling you, this is what we did. We made a commitment, and we planned. And it started here. Because time runs out, and you don't realize how quickly time goes. Brian and I were talking this morning, and I made mention that, hey, we're at day 0, because he's been on a countdown. And every once in a while, we get this email that says, 100 more days. And he said, wow, it's really quite amazing how fast 100 days went by. So, your 100 days will go by very quickly. I don't even think there's 100 days till the next chapter takes a hold. So take advantage of being here. On the next slide, what we did was we outlined our sessions that we were going to attend. And we said, okay, we had 3 here 1 year, we had 4 here the 2 years. We only had a certain amount of peoples, and we could only see a certain amount of things. So we outlined, and we said, here's what we need to do. Then we focused on learning board-in-the-box principles, because even though we had been a part of this board for so long, we had not focused on that, and we really needed to focus on that. And then we wanted to commit to entering a CEA, and we did it. And actually last year we were part of the programming and membership right? Notifications. So just in 2 short years, we're here today. We also did something called a Sum It Up document. So everybody that's here that can relate to only bringing a couple people, this is kind of a fun idea. Those of us that came, we went home and we summed it up and we said, here's what our learnings were while we were here. And let everybody else on the board at least get a taste of the experience that we had. Okay? And then I say start planning. I can remember sitting in the strategy and planning session, and Kelly and Angela and others were here, and we actually, Grow Give Get was born at Summit. And what that is that it became our theme for the year. And we wanted, for the next slide, we wanted our members to be able to grow personally and professionally. We wanted them to be able to give back to their community or give them opportunities to give back for causes that they were interested in personally and professionally. And then we wanted them to be able to get tangible benefits from having an AMA membership and to recognize those tangible benefits. So based off that, once we had those established, we set our goals for the year. And actually, it's part of our CEA. So if you want to read what Grow, Give, Get means in a much more detailed standpoint than what I just said, because it's very skinny down, it's out in our CEA entry outside. So. And last but not least, have fun. This is an awesome experience to be able to bond with your board members. This is why we like each other, because we take the time and we do things together, and we do become friends. I would call them colleagues and friends. I was only given 10 minutes to stand up here, and I could literally stand here all day and say how proud I am of the group of people and what our board has accomplished and what our chapter has accomplished as a whole. But because I only have 10 minutes, I tried to narrow it down. Excuse me. So the first one I want to mention, ooh, that was my kids. That's a big right. Now I had to throw a wrench in it and use a Mac, so sorry. Sponsorships, pay for nothing. We took this mantra, and Ashley Danielson, who is also here, and her team rocked it. We got an increase of 35% year over year. 120 contributed sponsors for almost 125,000 in sponsorships. Huge, especially for our size of organization. So we're very proud of that, and thank you, Ashley and team, because that's an incredible thing. And we're creative with our sponsors. This very presentation has sponsorships. iFresh Image and Sadie Howard, she took our vision and she put it on these slides. So be creative. Ray Gun, awesome t-shirt company, Whimsical Fun in Des Moines, Iowa. We reached out to them and I said, hey, I want to use your images because I love it. Can I? Gave me a free t-shirt, said go for it. Any of you, reach out to them. They are just wonderful. Check them out online. Both of these companies are great. Also, one last creative thing that we did with our sponsorships is we extended to our SIGs. I've heard them called special interest groups, shared interest groups. And we knew that social media was important to our members at the time. So we reached out to a group called Lava Row in Des Moines, Iowa, and we had them sponsor our entire, all of our SIG luncheons for the year. So that was fun as well. And they did it all on social media. Next point of pride would be our student focus. Stacy Rose, our VP of student membership. We recognized a couple of things. Number one, that we were charging them to be an AMA member. Number two, that we were not making sure they were filling out their paperwork correctly. I mean, it sounds so simple and silly, but they weren't checking a box. And we needed them to check a box. So we reached out. We made it a goal to reach out to our student membership because we realized they're our future. That's who's coming next, and we need a future and a plan for that. So it's exponential. I can't even say that, 1,750%. It's craziness, but it worked. So think about your students and what you can do there. Surveying lost members. Kendra Kelly, she's here. She's our VP of membership. For the first time ever, we went out and we said, how do we find value with our members that we've lost? Why did we lose them? Help us understand that. Our volunteers, are they happy? Are we doing what we need to be doing from a volunteer perspective? And they responded, so thank you, Kelly. for helping with that. And then one that's a little personal for me is that, oh boy, I almost cried when Christian gave his. I don't know how I'm going to do this without crying. But my grandma had passed away and had her 1-year anniversary of her death anniversary on the very first luncheon of my program year. Crazy. But I realized that our community gave to us, and we wanted to give back to our community. So I asked the board, would they be willing to add a community relations position? So what we did was we put that together with the student membership. So we made it a student membership and community relations position. And Stacy Rose helped us raise over $2,000 for the American Cancer Society in our program year. So I'm very proud of that, and I just wanted to mention that. The next one here, programs. They are, I would say, on top of sponsorships, the single most important thing our organization can do. Number one, it brings people to you. It keeps your members engaged. Number two, it's a revenue source, right? It helps us fuel that engine. So I'm going to talk about one in particular because we had great feedback on this, which is really cool. But I think the more exciting things was that we partnered with Drake University, a local university, as a student member chapter, brought Joe Pine in, he's an author. We had an event, and the event was called the Experience Economy. And it was all about how you make an experience out of your events, out of your work, out of your jobs that you're doing. So we took this, and we put it to play for our membership. And we said, we want to create our events to be an experience. And so I want to share with you a video that we put together. It's on the next slide, and it's been condensed quite a bit from a time standpoint, so the quality may not be as great as it once was. But we put this together on our annual golf outing. One back. I'll let you watch this for a second.
So what?
So what? So let's dance.
She loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she does everything. She loves to move, she loves to groove, she loves a lot of things.
So yeah, have fun. And bring things to life for them so they can see that you're bringing a fun experience to them. The second one I'll mention is we have an annual awards program. It's called the Nova Awards. We actually have that next week. But last year we had the committee, Lori Howe, Georgian Smith, and their committee, they brought it to a whole new level. And we had a backyard 50s barbecue. It's like a 50s style barbecue. And we encouraged everybody to dress the part, so you can see we were all dressing the part there and having a good time. All right, so I'm almost done. I'm going to sum it up and some slides and tell you guys about our lessons learned. The first one I'll say is money management is king. I think that you should run a chapter like you run a business. And when you run a business, you have to have money. And if you don't have money, you can't run, you don't have a business. So this is king. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of money. So our sponsorships are incredibly important to us. Okay? The next thing I'll say is don't lose your nonprofit status. It's not good. I'm hoping that you find these numbers staggering because we did. It was a very big hardship on our chapter. So, and all we did was miss a schedule. We handed it in on time. We did what we thought we were supposed to do. We missed a schedule, and it was a mess. And this just accounts for our CPA hours. It doesn't account for my hours. It doesn't account for the board members' hours that were all involved, and there were many of us involved. So, find a great loyal resource to help you with your finances and make sure that those are taken care of first and foremost. Not all board members are engaged. As you hope And I'll point out down here that this photo is for illustration purposes only. And in no way a reflection of the efforts of these men. Happen to be one of them that's here.
Wedding ring.
But the point here is that we all hope that people are going to be engaged. And we want people to be engaged. So set up expectations. What do you expect out of them at the very beginning? How do you want them to react? And if they don't, or they're negative, nip it in the bud, because if you don't, it's cancerous, and it'll spread quick. So, I learned that. Also, changing jobs. I had an opportunity to take on a new position with a company called TMG Financial Services, where I would be building a marketing team. And I could not have done that successfully without the group of people that's here and the group of people back home. So Kelly Moore totally rocked it for me at the end of the year when I took my job and helped me make it through several months. So thank you very much.
Love you.
All right, I'm going to leave with one last word. You are not a leader until you make it your job to lead others. And this doesn't mean micromanage. I'm not a believer in that. It means teach people how to do your job, and hopefully they learn how to do it even better than you do it. So that's all. Oh, one last thing. We do have one more quick surprise before I go. And that is tomorrow, we have a small token of appreciation and a gift for everyone in the room. So be looking for it on your chairs as you enter this room as a group from Iowa. So.
Aww.